Hi, I have another 5-minute story. This is from Peter Rabbit. This story is called A Tale of Squirrel Nutkin, 1903. This is a tale about a tale that belonged to a little red squirrel. His name was Nutkin. He had a brother named Twinkleberry and a great many cousins. They lived in a wood at the edge of the lake. In the middle of the lake, there is an island covered with trees and nut bushes. And amongst those trees stands a hollow oak tree, which is the house of an owl who is called Old Brown. They made little rafts out of twigs, and they paddled way over the water to Owl Island to gather nuts. Each squirrel had a little sack and a large oar and spread out his tail for the sail. One autumn, when the nuts were ripe, the leaves on the hazel bushes were golden and green. Nutkin and Twinkleberry. Let me see, who was Twinkleberry? Oh yeah, Twinkleberry was his brother. And all the other little squirrels came out of the wood and down to the edge of the lake. So here's the tree, and here they all travel in autumn to get nuts from the tree. They also took with them an offering of 3 fat mice as a present to Old Brown and put them down under his doorstep. Then Twinkleberry and the other little squirrels each made a low bow and said politely, "Oh, Mr. Brown, will you favor us with permission to gather nuts upon your island?" That was nice that they asked. Always when you go somewhere else, it is very polite to ask if you want something. But Nutkin was excessively impertinent in his manners. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Sounds like he's going to be mean. He bobbed up and down like a little red cherry singing, riddle me, root toot toot. A little wee man in a red coat, a staff in his hand and a stone in his throat. If you tell me this riddle, I'll give you a groat. Wonder what that means. Now, this riddle is as old as the hills. Mr. Brown paid no attention whatever to Nutkin. He shut his eyes obstinately and went to sleep. Okay. He didn't care anything about Nutkin and went to sleep. The squirrels filled their little sacks with nuts and sailed away home in the evening. Well, I guess since he didn't pay any attention to him, I guess it was okay to get the nuts. So they did, and they went home. But the next morning, they all came back again to Owl Island. And Twinkleberry and the others brought a fine fat mole and laid it on the stone in front of Old Brown's doorway and said, "Mr. Brown, will you favor us with your gracious permission to gather some more nuts?" But Nutkin, who had no respect, oh my goodness, that's bad, began to dance up and down, tickling Old Brown with a nettle and singing, "Oh, Mr. B, riddle me ree, hitty pitty within the wall, hitty pitty within the wall. If you touch hitty pitty will bite you." Mr. Brown woke up suddenly and carried the mole into the house. Uh-oh. The squirrels searched for nuts all over the island and filled their little sacks, but Nutkin gathered oak apples, yellow and scarlet, and sat upon a beech stump, playing marbles, oh my goodness, and watching the door of old Mr. Brown. Well, we did say earlier that Nutkin had no respect. He shut the door in Nutkin's face. So Mr. Brown shut the door in Nutkin's face. Presently, a little thread of blue smoke from a wood fire came up from the top of the tree. Uh-oh. And Nutkin peeked through the keyhole and sang, "A house full, a hole full, and you cannot gather a bowl full." Somehow, I get the feeling that this is not going to end well for Nutkin. Let's find out. On the third day, the squirrels got up very early and went fishing. They caught 7 fat minnows. Minnows are fish. As a present to Old Brown, they paddled over the lake and landed under the crooked chestnut tree on Isle Island. Twinkleberry and 6 other little squirrels each carried a fat minnow. But Nutkin, who had no nice manners, brought no present at all. He ran in front, singing, "The man in the wilderness said to me, 'How many strawberries grow in the sea?' I answered him as I thought good, 'As many red herrings as grow in the wood.'" But old Mr. Brown took no interest in riddles, not even when the answer was provided for him. On the 4th day, the squirrels brought a present of 6 fat beetles, which were as good as plums in plum pudding for Old Brown. Each beetle was wrapped up carefully in a dock leaf fastened with a pine needle pin. But Nutkin sang as rudely as ever, "Oh, Mr. B, riddle me ree, flower of England, fruit of Spain, meet together in a shower of rain, put in a bag tied around with a string. If you'll tell me this riddle, I'll give you a ring." Which was ridiculous of Nutkin, because he had not gotten any ring to give Old Brown. The other squirrels hunted up and down the nut bushes, but Nutkin gathered robin's pincushions off a briar bush and stuck them full of pine needle pins. I'm telling you, this is not going to be good for him. Something's going to happen to him in the end. Can't keep being mean to people and think nothing's going to happen to you. On the 5th day, the squirrels brought a present of wild honey. Wow! It was so sweet and sticky that they licked their fingers as they put it down upon the stone. They had stolen it from the bumblebee's nest on the tippity top of the hill. But Nutkin skipped up and down singing, "Hum-a-bug, bzz, bzz, hum-a-bug, bzz. As I went over Tipple-time, I met a flock of bony swine." I've never seen a bony swine. That means a bony pig. Pigs aren't ever bony. That'll went over Tippy-time. Old Mr. Brown turned up his eyes in disgust at the impertinence of Nutkin, but he ate up the honey. The squirrels filled their little sacks with nuts, but Nutkin sat upon a big flat rock and played ninepins with the crabapple and green fir cones. He was bowling. Didn't seem like he gathered any nuts. On the 6th day, which was Saturday, the squirrels came again for the last time. They brought a new laid egg in a little rush basket as at last parting present for Old Brown. But Nutkin ran in front laughing and shouting, "Humpty Dumpty lies in the back, with a white counterpane around his neck. 40 doctors and 40 rights could not put Humpty Dumpty to rights." Wonder what's going to happen to him. Now, old Mr. Brown took an interest in eggs. He opened one eye and shut it again, but still he didn't speak. Nutkin became more and more impertinent. "Oh, Mr. Brown, oh, Mr. B. Hickamore, 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 hackamore on the king's kitchen door. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't drive hickamore, hackamore off the king's kitchen door." Nutkin danced up and down like a sunbeam, but still Old Brown said nothing. The other squirrels scattered away into the bushes. When they came back very cautiously, peeping around the tree, there was Old Brown sitting on his doorstep, quite still, with his eyes closed, as if nothing had happened. But Nutkin was in his waistcoat pocket. Nutkin began again. "Arthur O'Bower has broken his ban. He comes roaring up the land. The King of Scots, with all his power, cannot turn Arthur of the Bower." Nutkin made a whirling sound to sound like the wind, and he took a running jump right onto the head of Old Brown. Then all at once there was a flutterment and a scuttlement and a loud squeak. I don't think this is too good for him. Well, this looks like the end of the story, but it isn't. Old Brown carried Nutkin into the house and held him up by the tail, intending to skin him. Wow, that means shave all his fur off. But Nutkin pulled so very hard that his tail broke in two, and he dashed up the staircase and escaped out from the attic window. And to this day, if you meet Nutkin up a tree and ask him a riddle, he will throw sticks at you and stamp his feet and scold and shout, "Cluck, cluck, 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 clutter, cluck, cluck." The end. I told you it wasn't going to go good for him. The end. See? Can't keep being mean to people and think nothing's going to happen to you. They might not do anything, but something else might happen to you. So, be safe. Until next time. Bye.